Just for context of how big this box is, look, it's heavy. This is 6 months worth of supply. I'm so excited. So let the video begin. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be about how I started weightlifting. And it's a story that a lot of people kind of have a know or understanding of, but I don't think anyone's ever heard it from me. So I thought it would be a really good way to introduce myself on this channel. So just let you know how I got into the weird and wonderful sport that is weightlifting. It's not common. It's not something that I would say is necessarily easily accessible, especially when I started, it wasn't. I was very fortunate, but I think that I'm really just excited to share with you how I started weightlifting. I think this video is going to be quite fitting because September, October will be around 12 years since I started weightlifting, and weightlifting has absolutely changed my life. First question is, when did I start weightlifting? I started weightlifting in, I believe, 2011, so right as I went into year 11, September, October times, and I think this feeds into like how I started weightlifting. I had selected PE GCSE as one of my GCSE options. Obviously, I love sport. I was playing football, so at the time, I think end of year 10, I was playing for Leyton Orient. I was engaging in every single extracurricular activity. And I remember when I stopped football, I just went on a journey of kind of like going to everything. And I remember in PE GCSE, it was just really, really hard for me to get to terms of aerobics. And that's the Aunt Viv kind of, let's dance to the beat of this music. And I'm not saying I was a big child, but despite my kind of sporting background, it was difficult. I just felt always like, ugh. So I remember it was twofold. The recommendation was to go and start weightlifting. So our whole class did weightlifting. So I knew we were going to do that. And I also had a best friend at the time who was like, let's just go to the after school club. And I was like, oh, fantastic. We're doing it in PE GCSE. Let's just go. I'm going to get some extra practice in, because I really wanted an A in PE. It made sense. My whole life had been about sport. When I was younger, I trialed for Arsenal. I was like absolutely sure I was going to be like a footballer. So I was like, I've got to get my A. So we went and I met my wonderful and phenomenal coach, George Manners. And as soon as we walked in the door, he was like, if you're coming in here, you're competing. And I was like, okay, whatever that means. Like, actually, whatever that means. So went in without like any expectations. I just went in there thinking, if I can nail the technique, because at the time we were graded on our technique, if I can nail that technique of weightlifting, I'll get my A in all my practicals, and then I just have to worry about my exam. So I wasn't really paying attention to the fact that he was being serious, and this was going to be something that changed my life. Determined to just be the best weightlifter I could be, and I didn't know what that entailed. All I knew was that I was going to give this my all. We are going to take a quick pause just here so I can tell you all about our sponsor today, Zaag. Zaag is a supplementation company that I've been using for several months, and I'm telling you, it has been absolutely amazing and phenomenal for me. So I'm going to walk you through all the benefits and all the changes I've seen, and I've also got a cheeky discount code for you as well, so that you can get 20% off your 2-week trial pack. And I promise you that you will see a difference in that 2 weeks. The benefits: my sleep has improved. I used to have very broken and fractured sleep. Sleep has improved. My energy levels have improved, so I have more energy to get throughout the day. My focus is sharpened, because your girl can't focus for long, but because of the makeup and the ingredients inside the product, it has made a very, very big difference, to the point that when we were, they were out of stock for a couple of weeks and I'd run out of my batch, I could literally feel the difference. And you see me on my story with the meme, actually feel the difference of not having it. It became kind of a normal thing for me. I'll wake up in the morning, I'll have my electrolyte in water, and I would squeeze the gel in. So there's a versatility within the product. You can take it via a shot, you can mix it in with maybe your smoothies, your green juices, your electrolytes, whatever the case, everything you need. It's fast acting, fast responding, and I kid you not, once you try it, you're gonna get hooked to it. But you got 20% off your trial pack, and I suggest you just give it a try, see how it goes. Much more effective than vitamins and tablets. And you guys know, I used to tell you about vitamins and tablets all the time. I tell you to take your multivits. I take one gel. I don't need to take anything else. I take one gel, and I'm gonna tell you why I take one gel. So Zaag has 29 different vitamins in them. It also has nootropics and adaptogens in a single daily shot. You receive your Zaag, they look a bit like this. Not a bit, they look like this. It comes in a box, and this box can go in the fridge, and it's just a single shot as well. So it's just a gel shot, best in the front, like where you put your eggs and stuff in your fridge. But I cannot recommend this enough. So use my code to get 20% off your trial pack, and I'll put that code inside the description box, and that will be DiscMercyB. That gets you 20% off for your first 2 weeks, and then I know that after the first 2 weeks of trying this, you are going to get absolutely. What are my biggest achievements? So I've been fortunate where I've had a really amazing career in the sport. I started as a school age lifter, so under 15, right up until senior level, with regular appearances at each level. And it's really hard to narrow it down, but these are my key ones. So 2014 Commonwealth Games was a huge one to me. I went at 18 years old, right off the back of finishing college and going to uni. And I worked hard to qualify for that. I remember that was one of the first times I had a really big period of self-doubt and a really big kind of need of validation, because I knew I could get the qualifications, but I wasn't being treated like I could. So I remember that was big to me. It was my worst competition to date. I think I made 2 out of 6 lifts or something like that, but I placed 4th. At 75 kilos, and I worked hard to get there. I made the total despite the fact that it wasn't a great comp, and that was up there. 2015 European Junior Champion, like that was crazy to me. Absolutely crazy. Went in there knowing that I trained hard, but didn't walk in there thinking I'd be the junior champion, which was phenomenal. 2016 World Junior Medalist, so 3rd place. That again was kilo for kilo. Like I think there was at least 5 or 6 of us up on the medal podium, because it was literally like you could have not medaled in snatch, clean and jerk, but you might have medaled in total, and vice versa, because there's 3 medals at internationals. So that was a really big one. It was my last year as a junior, and I really wanted to get a medal at the World Juniors. So that was a big one. And my senior medal from 2016 European Seniors was a big one as well. That was part of the Olympic qualification back when it was a team system. So it was like everyone's performance matters so that we can qualify enough spots to go to the games. Yeah, I originally finished with a bronze medal, and recently found out that I was promoted to a silver due to one of the medalists above me failing a drugs test. So that makes me a 2016 European Senior Silver Medalist. I don't have that medal. Hopefully if someone has any details on how I can get that, then that would be great. But those are my key achievements. I think I look at what I had to sacrifice and what I had to pour in to be able to get to that point. And why am I so passionate about weightlifting? I think it taught me a lot, and I thank my coach a lot. And I think a lot of people don't understand how my team, so all of us that kind of grew up in that school team, really resonate with our coach. He stepped in a fatherly figure, and we used to call him Granddad, because he taught us so much about life through weightlifting. We're meeting at this time, we're training at this time. He used to tell us no crossing your legs in training, you can't go on your phone in training, no recording your lifts in training. We had so many different parameters and disciplines that meant that we became the sort of athletes that were very focused, very dialed in, very disciplined, and very strict in the way that we used our training time and the way that we trained. So when I say like that's Granddad, it's not a joke. Like he took us under his wing. We were all secondary school age, we're young, we're at that peak learning point, and he made it a point to really make sure that it wasn't just about weightlifting. We wouldn't just leave here knowing how to lift weights. He made sure that we would be equipped for life. And I kid you not, had I not had that experience and that impactful person in my life, I don't actually know where I would be, because they were definitely ready to kick me out of school. I was definitely falling behind my potential, and everyone saw the difference. My grades were much better, my discipline, my focus, my time allocation, my scheduling, everything. And even when I went to college, I made it a point to really be disciplined about the subjects that I chose, my time availability. Okay, I'm going to be in college these hours, but I'm going to train at this time. And I sacrificed a lot at such a young age, because we were just instilled with so much. So I wasn't at social activities, I wasn't always out, I didn't take up certain opportunities that we had available, because I was just almost quite militant with my career. And I just thought, this is what I'm going to do, and I'm going to do it well. But this absolutely changed my life. And that's what I kind of instill in my coaching as well, that it's more than weightlifting. There's so much you can take away from this, and it has the opportunity to just change your life. So yeah, how do I currently train? Right now, I currently do around 3 days a week minimum. I work quite a lot. I do have to take some time to make sure that I am balancing things really, really well. So 3 days as a base, 4 days for like an ideal week where I have the time, but otherwise I just make sure I get 3 solid sessions in as well. Concluded, here are some 5 tips that I would give anyone that is looking to start weightlifting. And you know what, it's actually applicable to many other things, but 5 tips for weightlifters. So if you're just starting out, you're in the beginning, or even if you're at that point where you're just like, how do I do this and what do I do now? These 5 tips are going to absolutely change your life, I promise you. Listen. I don't think people get it. Listen. You have to listen to people. You have to listen to coaches. You have to listen to people with more experience than you. You have to listen. I think that was a lot easier, especially as a younger athlete, because the person's older than you, you're in school, there's these rules, you listen to people that are older than you, and in coaches, you listen to people that are older than you or more experienced than you. And I think that some of the things I've experienced as a coach now is that people don't listen. You get a lot of people that want your help but don't listen, and you find that the ones that do excel, and they excel quickly, are the ones that are listening and paying attention. So it only makes sense. Listen. Want to focus on yourself, because that's the only thing you can control in this whole game of weightlifting. You can't control no one else. You can't change what someone else is doing. You can't impact what someone else is doing. You got to keep your eyes focused on what you are doing. And that focus also extends to your training. I know that training is such an amazing time. I love the social aspect of training and community, but you need to be able to learn how to switch on and off. So if you're training, you're focused on training. And if you're talking, but you need to be able to dial in to be able to intentionally train hard and do what you need to do. The next one, some people might fight me about it, but get those hands up, is that you need to learn how to lift and take time with technique. You need to take time. You actually need to take time. A lot of people want to rush through, and you know what the interesting thing is? When you are a strong person, you are very kind of excited to lift more and more and more and more, to the detriment of your technique. So now you get to an older training age where it's harder to make the changes because you've ingrained bad habits. So the lifters I find that do really, really well, especially people that I coach or people that I've seen coach, are the ones that take time to pay attention to their technique. They are not compromising training, they're not compromising their program, they're not compromising their positions and mobility and all the other components that make up an athlete to just make lifts. They're taking time to really break down the foundations, and that is something that never goes away. You need to be constantly be learning. Even at 12 years as a weightlifter, my technique is not perfect. There's been changes that I've had to make, but you know what? The foundation will always be technique. It will always, always, always be technique and learning how to lift. So that's a big one. I think the next one is identifying your goals. For me personally, I can't train and I can't stay focused if I have no goals. Like, what am I working towards? And I think that that's a very good intrinsic motivator for different people. So I would say set out 3 goals of what you want to achieve in weightlifting. And those might be numerical numbers of I want to snatch 70, clean 90, whatever the case be. Or that might be I want to qualify for the British, I want to qualify for the Europeans, or I want to do X, Y, and Z. Set out some goals and begin to work towards them. Better make the goals with your coach. They will be able to support your training to meet those goals as well. And my last one, last but not least, is build out your team. You heard me. It is a village. It is a village. It's not a single man show. So yes, you have your coach, but who do you go to for physio? Who do you go to for sports massages? Who do you go to for sports nutrition advice? Who do you go to for psychology? Like, there are all these different components that as you gradually progress through weightlifting, you need to identify who is your team. And I've got an ecosystem of people that are aware of my goals, what I want to achieve, my capabilities, and where I presently am. So that really allows me to work towards success. I think sometimes people think that they can do it on their own. But yeah, that's my advice for everyone. And I think another one that I didn't consider is have fun. This is fun to me. So let's not neglect the importance of having fun with what you're doing. So thank you for sponsoring my video today, Zaag and Adam and the team. Really appreciate it, and I thank you for your ongoing support too. You enjoyed that. You can follow my training on Mercy Brown on Instagram, so that's all linked in the description. Feel free to message me if you want advice, if you have questions, if you want coaching, anything like that. Feel free to reach out to me. I'm more than happy to answer any questions. And don't forget, like, comment, subscribe, and share, and I will be back with a video for you.